The night my husband died, I lost more than the love of my life. I lost the family I believed I had. What they did only hours after his funeral changed me forever. They thought I was nothing more than an old widow living off my husband's money. They had no idea I owned a fortune they could never imagine. My name is Evelyn Carter, and I am 64 years old. My husband, Michael, and I were married for 38 wonderful years. When he passed away after a long battle with cancer, I believed the hardest part of my life had already arrived. I was wrong. After the funeral, while I quietly cleaned the kitchen, my daughter-in-law, Rebecca, walked in with my stepson Ethan and the rest of the family. Without a trace of sympathy, she folded her arms and told me it was time to pack my bags because I no longer belonged in the house. She insisted the family needed to take control of Michael's estate and that I should move into a retirement community. The words cut deeper than grief itself. I looked around the home I had shared with my husband for years and realized they had already decided my future without asking me. Instead of arguing, I simply smiled and said okay. That single word confused them. They expected tears, anger, or begging, but I quietly packed 2 suitcases and checked into a small hotel under my maiden name. While they celebrated what they believed was an easy victory, I made one phone call to my attorney, who had managed my personal finances for years. The truth was something Michael's children never knew. Long before I married him, I had inherited a successful real estate portfolio from my first husband. Over the decades I invested wisely, purchasing apartment buildings, commercial properties, and eventually a historic skyscraper in New York City. That single building was now worth more than $28 million, and my total assets exceeded $47 million. Even the family home they had forced me to leave legally belonged to me because Michael had transferred ownership years earlier. For several days I ignored their desperate phone calls while they searched through Michael's paperwork, confused by documents that no longer matched reality. Eventually they hired an attorney and demanded a formal reading of the will. I arrived dressed with quiet confidence, while they walked in, expecting to divide a fortune. Instead, the attorney announced that Michael had left each of his children a modest inheritance, while every remaining asset passed directly to me. Rebecca exploded in anger, insisting I had never worked or contributed anything. That was the moment I finally told them the truth. Michael's business had always been small. The wealth they admired had never been his. The luxury home, the investments, and the lifestyle had all been funded by my fortune. I owned the house they were living in, the properties they admired, and the skyscraper they had never even heard about. The room fell silent as document after document proved every word. Property deeds, investment accounts, business records, and ownership papers left no room for argument. Rebecca realized she had thrown a millionaire widow out of her own home only hours after her husband's funeral. I calmly informed them they had 72 hours to remove their belongings before I changed the locks. Suddenly the people who had treated me like a burden began calling me family again, but it was too late. Respect offered only after discovering my wealth meant nothing to me, and 3 days later they moved out in silence. Rebecca even brought her parents hoping they would support her, but after learning the truth, they apologized to me instead, and left ashamed of their daughter's behavior. Watching the last car disappear from my driveway did not make me feel victorious. It made me feel free. For the first time in years I was living without pretending to be smaller than I truly was. 6 months later, I received a call from the hospital. My stepson Ethan had been injured in a car accident and had listed me as his emergency contact. His marriage had collapsed after losing the luxurious lifestyle his wife had wanted. Sitting beside his hospital bed, he admitted he had betrayed the woman who had raised him simply because he believed money mattered more than love. His apology was sincere, and for the first time I saw genuine regret instead of entitlement. I forgave him, not because he deserved it, but because forgiveness allowed me to move forward without carrying bitterness. That experience taught me a lesson I will never forget. People often reveal their true character when they believe you have nothing left to offer. My family thought my value depended on my husband's wealth, yet they never realized I had built my own success long before they entered my life. In the end, I kept my fortune, my home, and my dignity. But the greatest victory was discovering my own worth. Money can buy comfort, but self-respect is priceless, and once people show you who they truly are, believe them the first time.